What is up, everybody in the ether of the internet? I always tell myself I'm not going to begin the show by yelling, and then I inevitably do. How's it going, everyone?
What's up, everyone?
Welcome to the Bitchuation Room. Bonus, we're doing this live. We might not get anybody because
this isn't about other people. This is about us.
It's about us.
Yeah.
It's all about us.
I actually don't know the
really
song. Yeah.
I'm just inventing it.
Okay.
Right now.
I thought that was a real song for a second.
No.
I don't know a lot of songs.
But you know all of Hamilton.
I do know all of Hamilton, backwards and forwards, and I'm not even ashamed of it.
Yeah?
No.
I hope everyone's gotten a chance to watch Hamilton. I was on Matt's podcast and we talked all about it.
Yeah, we had a whole hour and a half long conversation about how Hamilton is actually a good musical and that people who hate on it need to have really good reasons or else I'm going to get mad at them.
Exactly. That's the voice in the face of Mr. Matt Lieb. He's a comedian.
Hi.
He is also my partner, my life partner.
Yeah. I use the word boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, partner.
Yeah, we're boyfriend, girlfriend.
Also, I make him, write jokes for food.
Yeah, it's how I survive. But as you can tell, I've been writing a lot of jokes because I've gained weight.
That's just because you don't exercise in quarantine at all.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
You refuse.
Yeah. Well, I don't refuse to. It's just that the idea of spending any portion of my day on self-betterment feels selfish. You know what I mean?
I thought you were gonna say feels neoliberal.
And it feels neoliberal.
Really neoliberal.
It's bourgeois neoliberalism that makes you want to self-improve. I say let yourself go. Just get nice and round, get a moo-moo, hang out.
You're just describing a Simpsons episode at this point.
I'm describing my life as I see it.
Yeah, this plaid shirt goes all the way down.
Yeah, that's right. It does.
Guys, I wanted to do a special bonus episode. We might do this again. We might never do it again, but I'm glad a few of you are here. And if you're listening, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
This is that bonus content with Mr. Matt Lieb, who beyond NATO Green is the other Jew in my life.
Yeah, I'm the other Jew. The Jew's on the other foot. You know what I mean? I don't know what it means, but it rhymes. So I said it. I've been watching. I've watched every single episode of the Bitchuation Room. And That's
good. You've created ghost accounts to follow it.
Oh yeah, I've got most of your views are just different alt accounts, and you can tell they're me because I keep going like, Francesca's hot, huh? I heard her boyfriend's really tall and handsome. That's how you'll know it's me.
I heard he doesn't work out.
I heard he doesn't work out because he's not a neoliberal bourgeois idiot.
Yeah. Who wants COVID?
Yeah.
I've got a new background, you guys. This is just straight from the factory.
High tech stuff.
Straight from the farm. It almost goes the full length.
It looks good.
It looks fine. I wanted to do this bonus and just like have some quick bitching.
Yeah.
I want to talk about cancel culture or canceling cancel culture. There's a new open letter out from 153 academics, maybe 148 now that many of them have recanted signing on to.
Oh, is that true?
It is very true.
Oh man, the news cycle on this one went fast.
Very, very fast. The news cycle it's so quick. I mean, that's why I don't stay on Twitter, because it's like, I'll tweet something and then someone will tweet back and be like,
that's over.
Yeah. Like, if you tweeted this 3 hours ago, it would have done way better.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
It's one of the reasons that shows of solidarity on Twitter, I think, are pretty much meaningless. I appreciate the sentiment behind some of it, but for the most part, I'm just like,
what do you mean shows of solidarity?
Usually it's like everyone has decided at the same time to talk about one particular thing. Whereas like today, if we're going to talk about what we're bitching about, the story of the Coopers, both Chris and Amy, of two separate Cooper families.
Two Coopers.
Yeah.
It's like the new Montague and Capulet.
Yeah, right. Two star-crossed Coopers.
Star-crossed Coopers.
Take their lives. So like the story came out, I think maybe it was yesterday, that if you don't remember who the Coopers are, Amy Cooper is the one who called the police on a bird watcher and said there's a black man threatening me, obviously weaponizing the police against a black man for doing something that she found threatening, which I assume was existing. And then, of course, he taped it. It went viral, and it all went crazy after that. And then I think George Floyd was murdered maybe a few days
like a
later.
week after.
Yeah. And
Christian Cooper is his name.
Christian Cooper, yeah. And so it became a symbol of, kind of liberal racism and police brutality and the way that white supremacy works in America, where we can call our boys as white people to to do murder for us, or to do brutality,
or just wield that over someone else.
Yeah,
even if that's not your intention, you're just speaking the language and
exactly.
You're someone.
And so then I think it was yesterday or the day before that New York decided to press charges on Amy Cooper for filing a false police report, and there was a bunch of people talking about it online, and I'm like, I opt out of this entire story. And the reason I opt out,
what were they complaining about?
I don't know if they were complaining so much as there are people who are like, there's people like, good, this is good, and then other people are like, this is bad. And my feelings about it.
But where did you stand?
Honestly, the way where I stand is that it's good, because she did do something illegal, filing a false.
But how strongly do you hold that opinion?
Not strongly enough to go on the internet and be like, just so people know, I agree with the cops. It's like one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna go out on a limb for a judicial decision in this case because I don't trust the district attorney of New York. And then today, I feel like my decision not to say anything was vindicated when Christian Cooper, the bird watcher, said that he will not testify and does not support the decision to press charges, and he said she's been punished enough, basically.
Sure.
And then there's more discourse about how, hey, this is good that he forgave her, and other people like, you should never, why are black people in America always forced to forgive their oppressors and whatnot? And again, my whole thing is like, who knows what tomorrow will bring? I'm not going to go on the internet and be like, this is my strongly held belief on any single subject. I'm just going to go in there and talk about eating butt, because that's my favorite thing. All
right. That's not this podcast.
Sorry.
Matt, but very strong. Thank you all for watching. I see everyone on Twitch. Where were you on Sunday? This is our midweek bitch.
Yeah.
So Matt's bitching about I feel like the internet is the following. It is a high speed 5-lane highway that you can never merge onto at the right time.
Right. That's exactly
and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Or a very elaborate double Dutch with like 5,000 ropes.
And you're
like,
just,
I don't know.
No, I think
what am I supposed to do?
A 20-lane highway is the perfect way of putting it. Because
Yes.
every time you want to like merge into like to have your comment, there's someone who just flies right by you, and you're just like, fuck you.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah. So
cancel. Well, that's sort of what I wanted to talk about. I mean, I want to bitch very quickly. Let's give some quick bitches. Guys, think of what are you quickly bitching about? I was watching mainstream media, #MSM. I was watching MSNBC. I got cable news because of the 2013 World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's been 7 years since the World Cup.
And you just kept the cable.
I just kept it. Just, the credit card was on file. I'm probably getting gouged for it.
You're one of the few people I know besides my parents who have cable. Did you know that?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was a compliment.
Your parents are cool.
They're cool.
And also, I had a show on MSNBC that aired twice. So
yeah, no big deal.
No big deal. One in the dead of 2019, December 29th. Literally no one watched it. And the other one in the middle of COVID. But the point is that they were there, had to have cable for it. But so I'm watching MSNBC during lunch. This is sort of what I do. I watch like an hour of news. It's the shows I actually really don't like during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But I watch it anyway. And it was the commercial, of course. And I could not eat my lunch because the first commercial was for something. It was for a
Humira?
No. It was for like Pure Glide female urine catheter trapper.
Oh, gross.
And it was this like, ooh, and this little contraption that sits on your nightstand. And it was like, the catheter easily fits. And I was like, I can't. No, I can't eat.
Yeah. Just lube it up and put it right in your pee hole.
Just put in that pee hole, just like you're putting that Beyond Burger in your mouth. I was also eating a Beyond Burger, which was already like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's good, right? And then it was like catheter. And then the next commercial straight up was a campaign ad for Donald Trump.
Ugh.
On fucking MSNBC. They're straight up taking... I mean, and I know it's like a, it's a cable provider's thing, and like maybe they don't have direct, sway over that. But
I mean, the question is, are there Joe Biden ads on Fox News? I would guess yes.
Yes.
So it's really just remember what I think all cable news and news in general has become, which is just a money-making venture. And they've turned all of
people who pee no good.
Yeah.
Who pee too much.
They pee bad.
Dude.
No, they don't. They pee too little.
They pee too. They can't control their pee. The Kegels, the Kegel muscle.
Right. But isn't a catheter for people so that they can, isn't it go into the pee hole?
Yeah, but that's so that you can wear a diaper.
But if you're out there, let us know what a catheter is for with regards to incontinence, because I didn't know they were similar.
Twitch, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everybody. I see Probot Video is carrying the flag for Bernie still.
Hell yeah. Oh, look at this. But have you tried the Epoch Times?
It's the Epoch Times.
Is it Epoch?
I think it's Epoch.
Whatever. All I know is it's a right-wing rag that's maybe the worst thing ever.
Does it... What are we talking about in terms of the media? I was like, does it soak up urine?
No, it's not a right-wing rag with a literal right-wing rag. It has what's his name on it? That fascist from
Nigel Farage?
No, from Italy from back in the day.
I don't know.
No,
Mussolini?
Mussolini, that's the guy. Yeah, I forget Mussolini's name.
The fascist from back in the day.
The fascist from back in the day.
The OG fash.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I've already been bitching about Biden's YouTube ads. But I wanted to ask you, Matt, because I got this fundraising ad. If anyone else is on the DNC fundraising list,
I'm on it. I didn't even sign up for it. Yeah.
Off.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get off.
Ever.
No, I don't know why. And what's worse is that some people have said Bernie gave his email list to them, and I'm staunchly in the
probably.
I'm of the belief that Bernie didn't do anything wrong and has never done anything wrong. So I'm like, he couldn't have. But at this point, I'm like, well, how am I getting emails now from?
I would disagree that that's the wrong move to give to share an email list.
I don't know.
Maybe not without giving the option to opt out.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to opt out. Oh, you know what? I got an email from the Justice Dems, which is that's something I think I had signed up for.
The point of my story that you've taken in a very boring direction.
Wow.
Is that I got an email from the Biden campaign, and the headline was,
"Hey, dog-faced pony soldier, give me money." Yes.
It was Joe Biden is a mensch.
Oh my God.
And it's from...
I do not like being pandered to.
I was going to say Mabai Reichel. I'm not that Asian.
Yeah, that's not even.
Yeah, no, it's just dyslexia. Rabbi Michael Beals.
Mm-hmm.
And Rabbi Michael Beals. So first of all, what's a mensch?
A mensch is like a good, upstanding boy.
Good, upstanding boy?
Yeah, good boy.
Isn't it like something even more wholesome, something more like you're one of the intellectual, not elite, but like it's nothing to do with wits or smarts.
No, it has everything to do with being an upstanding person.
Oh, a mensch.
Yeah, a good boy. You're a mensch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and as far as I know, it's specifically male, but I don't know.
Mensha.
I think if it's a woman, it's a fee mensch. I don't know.
I thought that was like there's a lot of pandering there, and it was very funny.
Yeah, starting off with Joe Biden is a mensch is like it means
Calling
man.
all Jews.
It means man in German. Yeah, well, this is a Yiddish word, and in Yiddish, some of the words are a little bit different.
A lot of people are bitching about AMLO. Sorry, I didn't mean to change it. I just saw a comment. AMLO, the president of Mexico, I think visited Trump.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that happened, but I've been very late to the story because I wanted to talk about something else in addition to, catheter ads and Joe Biden being called a mensch in the endless.
Well, what's the email about the mensch?
It's the story of the rabbi, and he's from Delaware, and he says, "I was a young rabbi, brand new to Delaware."
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing like horse footsteps in the background.
Yeah, because he was definitely a young rabbi riding a horse.
I was on my way. Okay. I was on my way to Shiva Minyan, a worship service following a death of a Jewish person. I was from California. Back then, I didn't know Claymont, Delaware from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I still don't know the difference. I think I knew Scranton was in Pennsylvania, but that's just from The Office.
I only know it from The Office.
But anyway, so he goes and I think it's a personal story. I don't really want to read the whole thing.
Yeah, it's probably something like, and one day a young senator came up to me and started massaging my daughter's shoulders and and said, "Oh, she seems like a strong girl, huh?" And I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm a Senator Biden, and by the way,
vote for me.
Vote
like
for
you're
me.
not up for election."
Yeah. If there's one thing I like, it's the Jews." And then he walked away. And I said, "That guy's a mensch. You can tell."
He probably made some this is all very sunny, but he definitely made some low-key anti-Semitic remark.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's Joe.
That's Joe.
But Joe Biden is a mensch. We need a mensch. Thanks for reading. I didn't read any of it to you, really. But obviously, this doesn't change whether I think we need to stop the bleeding literally in this country and actually vote for the guy. But I'm like, oh my God.
I mean,
of all the emails I did open, I did that I've gotten from the campaign. I was like, Joe Biden's a mensch.
All right. You're like, I got to hear this.
Yeah, I got to hear this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's, what choice do we have but to vote for old Joe? Is at this point, I think we're just really riding hard on the pity vote come November. I think pity I think it's going to do something.
Dirk in the comments is saying dementia.
Yeah.
That is so good.
That is good. Dementia.
Amazing.
Dirk, you did it again.
Dirk, you always do it.
You did it again,
You're learning
Dirk.
from the best.
Yeah.
You're learning from the best. Dirk
From the best.
comes to all of our comedy shows that are live or not live.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into this letter. So we talked about it earlier. I mentioned it briefly, but if you guys haven't seen it or read it, there is a letter out from Harper's Magazine, or published by Harper's Magazine, by 153 academics, artists, intellectuals, everyone from J.K. Rowling,
just kidding, Rowling,
to Noam Chomsky, to Matt Iglesias of Vox News, to Malcolm Gladwell, I believe a contributor to The New Yorker, and many other things.
And the Revisionist History podcast. I think the guy who helped broken windows policy happen in New York and then has since been really, really sorry about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well. This is like a broken window of, I don't know, intellectualism. It is. It's a little bit of a low-key crime. This letter. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read it, but I wanted to read some of it to you. And
I haven't had a chance, but I have once again seen the internet talking a lot about it, and I opt out.
You opt out of it?
Well, I opt out then, but I'll podcast about it. Sure. That's fine.
Without having read it.
Well, no.
I read it for you.
You can read it to me, and then I will have an opinion.
Here's the thing. There is a very particular if there's something that gets under your hat, right? Like there's just a little, or like a flea in your ear, or anything. We all have pet peeves. One of mine is when you put the toilet paper, the flap facing in. It should never be in. It's always facing out. And another one is
many schools have thought on that.
When supposed people on the left, or people who believe themselves to be progressive, start talking about cancel culture being the real enemy.
Oh God, yeah.
Versus white supremacy and militias being armed and, people being threatened and cars plowing into Black Lives Matter organizers as they've been doing this entire time, or actual police brutality, or the fact that we have the transcript from George Floyd's death when he was like calling for his mother even more directly and saying, I'm gonna die, they're gonna kill me, I'm dying, that which just came out today as well. No. The real problem is we apparently can't have free speech, that free speech is being limited.
Right.
And there's a cancel culture going on. And I've got let's just set the bar. When was the first time you heard of anything being called cancel culture, or called for someone calling for the canceling of something? And I have the inception from when I remember it being used.
I think I have it too.
Which for me was when Trump got elected and Stephen Colbert came out and just, talons out, being hilarious, being great, and just completely, I'm not going to respect this president, as he doesn't, and he's great at doing, skewering him, and the right was cancel Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, there was a hashtag and everything. Yeah.
Right? How dare he say what he did? There's no presidential respect. And that to me was the first moment of canceling someone, of asking for someone to be canceled.
Was this when Colbert, he had just taken up been on the Late Show? On the Late Show, yeah.
And then what also is inherent in the word cancel culture is that, Matt and I know as fledgling comics.
Fledgling. I'm crushing it, but whatever. Doing pretty good. So.
We would love to have something to cancel. I would love to be at the point of my career where someone would be cancel Francesca's show. Yeah, no, it would be nice to have something given to you, or you to be taken away. Yeah, because it means it means someone gave something to you. You got something in life. It's it's a status thing. Your show, your book, your whatever, cancel, blah, blah. Then I really think it took off in the Me Too movement when people started, mostly men, started feeling incredibly fragile and upset, and French women from, the 60s who were that was how we did it back then. I can't, I'm not doing French. Very specifically talking about Catherine Deneuve. But yes, she was just this is how it was. I don't know why French is one accent I can't do. Yeah. I'm I have to. Really, sometimes you have to get attached. I can't do it. I have to purse my lips a little bit. And, that's good. Then I think this, and then I get a very esoteric. Wow, this is turning me on. But it's hot. You should do French more. Can you imagine if I was in the balloon it's getting worse. Or what if I just do the Little Mermaid sacre bleu? Sacre bleu. Yeah. What is this? How on earth? Because I miss such a sweet little succulent crab. Yeah. Quel dimanche. What a loss. Here we go. In this sauce. And now some flour. I put just a dab. Achoo. All right. That was for... It was Sebastian is a crab. That's for all the Little Mermaid fans out there. Yeah. All of you. We all grew up on that Little Ass Mermaid. So anyway, so in the Me Too movement, it was cancel culture has gone too far, and this, there were a lot of stories that were in the gray area, a la Aziz Ansari, a really bad date, and all that kind of stuff, to Louis C.K. And Louis C.K. is a perfect example of someone who did something where he should face consequences for it and didn't really. He had a movie that didn't come out. I'm sure there was some extra money on top of that he didn't cash in on. Right. And he lost a bunch of money in club gig cancellations and stuff, but I'm not sure how much of that was them canceling on him or him canceling on them, because he was he can still get booked, and he still has a lot of money, and no one's trying to Gaddafi him in the streets or whatever. He's okay. I'm sorry, so specific, but but seriously, it's so that was when the backlash to, I think, cancel culture started. And in my cancel culture. Well, because cancel culture, when it started with Colbert, it was this right-wing thing where they were literally trying to cancel a show. It wasn't now cancel's turned into this nebulous term that kind of just means
this person is over and sucks, you know?
I think it also means, yes, this person is over, they suck, or they did something.
Right.
And I definitely like there are gradations for what I'm about to say and like this entire conversation. I think we absolutely should not dredge up things from people's, like if they didn't actually horribly hurt or harm someone, dredging up like a joke or a tweet from decades past and using it against them and weaponizing it is clearly bad faith and clearly like is not productive, right?
Right.
Now, if that person is continually hurting someone, I absolutely believe that there should be consequences for that. Yeah. My overall, and I'll get into how I feel about the cancel culture, but I wanted to read this. So J.K. Rowling, which why is it important that J.K. Rowling is signing this? And she's probably one of the most famous authors to sign this, is because she's been on a tirade against trans people. Not really, but her right to say, supposedly, that she just wants to say women and that women shouldn't apply to any trans people, whatever hill that she wants to die on and lose all of her fans who are gender nonconforming and otherwise who are just in solidarity with trans people.
Right. She's dying on a turf hill.
She's dying on this is the turf she's dying on. So let me just read it to you and see what you think. Okay, this is from the open letter. A free exchange of information and ideas, the lifeblood of a liberal society, is daily becoming more constricted. While we have to come to expect this on the radical right, censoriousness is also spreading more widely in our culture, an intolerance of opposing views, a vogue for public shaming and ostracism, and the tendency to dissolve complex policy issues in a blinding moral certainty. We uphold the value of robust and even caustic counter speech from all quarters. But now it is too common to hear swift calls for severe retribution in response to perceived transgressions of speech and thought. More troubling still, institutional leaders in a spirit of panic damage control are delivering hasty and disproportionate punishments instead of considered reforms. Hang on. So that's the flavor of this. And it kind of goes on. Stifling atmosphere is harming the most vital causes of our time. The way to defeat bad ideas is by exposure, argument, and persuasion, not by trying to silence or wish them away. All right, let's just take it step by step. This is about 3 paragraphs long, and there is not
too long if you ask me.
There's not a single citation of an event at all. There is no specifics. We don't know what they're talking about. We don't know which, they say broadly, editorial boards, certain professors are sad. We don't know. And they don't specifically say. Now, they're not even saying like, hey, that Karen in Costco shouldn't have lost her job when she was yelling racial epithets. Like that, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, at least you had like something specific. Right. Okay, the Torrance Karen who was, used to be a social worker, like, let's leave her alone. Like that is a perfectly fine argument to make. This letter is vague, elitist, of course, because it's who it's signed by on top of that, and in very non-concrete. It's just like, we are infringing on freedom of speech, and are you sure we're not going too far? Right.
And it seems to me like it's also very much so coming from a place of people having their power challenged for the first time. Because that's what cancel culture is. It's not incredibly powerful. It's like it has the power, for as far as I can tell, to only hurt people who are working people. The only people who actually can suffer under cancel culture are like people who get caught saying something racist on the internet and then lose their job.
Right.
But all of the people
which is actually that's why I bring that up, is like that is an argument that I'm willing to listen to, which is like the people who've been filmed and like their employers have made their own decisions about what to do with them. Like no one is necessarily calling for them to lose their job, but you could make the argument that there should be another, whether it's a suspension, a warning, some kind of intervention for this person who's working kind of a 9-to-5 job at wherever for losing their job because they got shamed on the internet because they're racist. You know what I mean? It gives me pleasure that they lost their jobs. It really does. But it's an argument to be made that they shouldn't. Now, the difference is that I feel like who they're talking about is like elite institutions, media institutions, and there's some like, there has been For example, J.K. Rowling being called out on her transphobia. Malcolm Gladwell is someone else who signed this letter. Malcolm Gladwell is someone who invited Steve Bannon to the New Yorker Festival about 2 years ago to have an open exchange of ideas. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? He faced backlash for that because a lot of people don't believe in platforming white supremacists.
Right. Yeah.
And he faced backlash over that. And he said the exact same thing, which is, this is freedom of speech.
Right. And, again, it's like, you look at who the real quote victims are in this letter, and they're not really talking about the Karens who are losing their jobs. They're talking about from a researcher fired for circulating a peer-reviewed academic study. Heads of organizations are ousted for what are sometimes just clumsy mistakes. Heads of organizations can bite my dick. Like, I'm sorry, but like the idea that there's some sort of like huge groundswell of the powerful being threatened by cancel culture is a total myth. It's bullshit. The people who are threatened by cancel culture are people who don't have power. That's the worst you can say of it. And cancel culture comes from people who have no power, who are expressing it in whatever way that they can.
That's exactly. So I mean, that to me is and this is a tweet I wanted to read from Alicia Grauso. She says, cancel culture has always existed. It's just that historically punched down at women and people of color who dared rise above their station. It wasn't until it started punching up at powerful white men and some white women that it suddenly became a problem. Weird, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect way to say it. And I also think that the fact that people feel that they have to take to Twitter, right? Like, I know there was a dust up in this progressive left media company, The Intercept, right? And one of, a Black woman writer took to Twitter because she felt like the editorial board had not properly addressed her concerns, because another writer kept on pitching stories that she felt were racist.
Yeah, just a bunch of black on black crime stories.
And she took to Twitter for it. And I feel like people take to social media, and predominantly people of color and women, because there's no other recourse.
Right.
And either those systems have not been set up either in HR or, and I mean, God, we all know that HR is flawed as hell, even when it does exist. But either in HR or like any other mediation. And clearly companies don't know, and groups and organizations don't know where to turn when they do have this conflict, that's why you then see it rearing its head. And the fact that we don't have, equal pay for equal work, diversity in hiring, understanding about systemic racism within structures, like that's why you have what is now being called cancel culture, right? Because it is a last recourse. And so there's that. I saw a great comment of someone saying how many, to the point about, whether these Karens, these random Karens who might be working class, how many of them, which by the way, I don't think the majority of the Karens are working. Like, I saw her Patagonia hat, you know what I mean? Like, the Torrance woman specifically, but a lot of the Karens have money, but not all.
Sure, not all.
But not all. But someone was saying how many of them are gatekeeping those people that they hate out of their workplaces. Right. I think that's very.
It's a good point. It's a good point, and I do think that, like, in general, when people are making videos, exposing Karens, I have too much empathy. I'm a very empathetic person, so I like to think of myself as a gauge for whether or not an ousting of a Karen is fair. And I will say 9 times out of 10, I'm always like, yep, that Karen is insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's an insane person.
No, yeah.
Like, there was, I think, only one instance in which I saw someone just filming a white woman with a camera who was like covering her face, and you didn't see her actually do anything wrong. And so I was like, in this case, we're supposed to just kind of assume that something happened off camera. But there's so many videos of people doing something wrong on camera and proudly doing it wrong, like just saying a bunch of racial slurs.
Dude in Monterey just going after an Asian family eating and celebrating a birthday.
Right, yeah.
And now today was like, I'm really sorry that my venture capital firm doesn't want to invest anymore. Now I realize.
Yeah, there's just so many videos of people who are doing such blatantly racist things almost proudly on the internet, that I'm like, hey, we live in a world where like it was never okay to be openly racist before. Why would you think that? I mean, it was more okay, but what I'm saying is that, like, why would you think that this is the kind of speech that needs to be protected? And they're not even talking about it. They're specifically talking about their rights as powerful writers and academics to not be questioned by people online who might be making bad faith arguments. They might be doing it just to poke at a hornet's nest.
But you work at Princeton.
But you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, and so I just want to distinguish between the like low level Karens and the high level institutional Karens, many of whom signed this. So just there is a smattering of people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky signed this letter.
Yeah.
Noam Chomsky is a notorious progressive, leftist, anarcho-syndicalist.
Mm-hmm.
He's
right about most
things.
He's
politicized me. He's right about so many things. He's a goddamn legend.
Mm-hmm.
And looks more and more like a real gnome every day.
Yeah.
Gnome looks like a gnome. I'm gonna give Noam like a get out of this one free. Like I don't see a need to cancel once again, like because I don't believe that this cancel culture is as awful, especially against the powerful, as they say,
or as effective.
It would be wrong of me to go to the internet and be like, well, no, Chomsky's canceled, because I don't believe that. You know, and I do think whatever intern is making him sign things needs to back the F up.
Yeah. And I mean, Noam Chomsky is also someone who, this reminds me very much of the, I forget who it was, but someone wanted to have Noam Chomsky defend Matt Taibbi. And someone emailed Noam Chomsky about Matt Taibbi, like, isn't he, did you read his thing? Isn't he pretty good? And then he just wrote back, like, seems like a sharp dude. And that's it. Or like, seems like a sharp guy. And then he goes, and then the guy tweeted out, I just emailed Noam Chomsky and to ask about Matt Taibbi. And it turns out Matt Taibbi's awesome. So everyone lay off. And then everyone just dunked on him for being like, oh yeah, this email from Noam Chomsky sure does.
Going like a thumbs
up.
Oh
my
God. No, we will be consulting. I mean, may he rest in peace. May he live a long, long life. But if he ever dies, we'll be going to the grave of Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
So could you like read my dissertation?
Exactly.
Then I saw a crow fly overhead, and I think that Noam Chomsky believes in this dissertation that I wrote about white men being under attack.
That was a message from the crow. Crow Chomsky.
Okay. I just want to explain, though, a couple beyond Noam Chomsky. There's a couple Jacobin writers, which is unfortunate. So he's not the only one on the left.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are people like Barry Weiss, who is an opinion writer for the New York Times.
The worst.
And she specifically has written a lot about how Ilhan Omar is a threat to the United States and how she's anti-Semitic. Mm-hmm. She has been carrying the very moderate Warhawk Democrat pro-Israel line on Palestine, and specifically against Ilhan Omar, like Chelsea Clinton, etc. Barry Weiss specifically has gone after any professors who speak out against
Palestine. That's how she started her career.
And if you want to talk about any kind of censorship, real censorship, look at any professor or any student group on any campus who wants to actually talk about
Palestinian human rights.
Palestinian human rights, and they get trolled. There are lists of them that are custodially kept. There are people, I mean, it is a whole industry of misinformation.
It's not just Twitter bots and people on Twitter who are ganging up on people. This is like literally government sanctioned cancel culture.
Yes, absolutely. And yet we can't talk about that because they're Palestinian. I mean, it's about Palestinians, and that doesn't apply here. No. Freedom of speech.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so funny and ironic that cancel culture is literally how she got started as a public figure. She was canceling professors who were talking about Palestinian human rights. That's her origin story.
Right.
You look at what's his name? oh man, the guy who was on CNN who got canceled, the Lamont Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah, I love it.
He's another perfect example of like, you want to talk about cancel culture. I mean, these people who are talking about the threat of cancel culture have wielded cancel culture their entire careers, especially if they're on the right.
I mean, and especially now, right? Like, we are in a moment where finally talking about police brutality, not just police brutality, we're talking about the system of policing as something that we could radically transform. That's getting on mainstream news right now.
Yeah.
And whereas other things like corporate control of media or Palestinian human rights, you go on mainstream news and start talking about that, you're never being asked back.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we're winning on a lot of in terms of rethinking the prison industrial complex and systemic racism. That is a win, but there is a lot more to do. Anyway, and I will just say that there is someone who didn't sign the letter. His name is Richard Kim. He is the enterprise director at HuffPost, and he had a great quote about why he didn't sign it. He says, "Okay, I did not sign the letter when I was asked 9 days ago because I could see in 90 seconds that it was a fatuous, self-important drivel that would only troll the people it allegedly was trying to reach. And I said as much."
Yeah.
So good. He says, I could honestly see how someone spent the same amount of time considering it and signed it because some of those words look good. Free speech. And hey, a friend is asking. People make mistakes, and that's how social circles work.
Also, the font for Harper's, it's a great font. It looks official. It looks like it's probably going to say a bunch of smart words.
Matt Lieb, tricked by fonts.
I get tricked by fonts.
We all get tricked by fonts. Oh my God, you don't drink, but like most people buy wine based on font.
Good font, good wine.
I'm sorry you're in the light right now.
I know, it's so hot where I'm sitting. It's so hot. I'm in the sun.
Oh God, I didn't know it was gonna go down like that.
You know what I could do? I could close the shade.
No, you're gonna stay there. You look like you're in a.
It's so hot.
You look like you're in sort of a dramatization of your life. You know, like.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
Richard finally his third tweet is, but what I don't get are the smaller groups of people who obviously painstakingly labored over those words and released them with great seriousness and pride and high fives. That hubris is what makes this a deliciously funny moment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, like, then the last caveat I'll say about cancel culture is there is a certain amount of over policing that we do of one another.
Sure.
We look at someone and instead of looking at their intentions, instead of asking them another question, instead of even rereading a tweet or asking what they meant by that, we will rush to judgment.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just happen online, but it happens in the best of most wonderful circles of, you know, activism and organizing. And arguably it happens in an even rougher context because these are people under pressure to, you know, launch campaigns, win victories, and hell are being targeted by the police as well. And you know, FBI shit. And yet in those spaces, I think it's become more and more difficult to, not become difficult, but I'm saying there is a certain amount of policing that we do with one another in our speech. So if you know, got my pronoun wrong, you're done. Or if you, you know, didn't say the right, you know, acronym that you should have said, then you're done. And if you, you know, you spoke too many times in a meeting, you spoke 3 times and everyone else spoke 2 times and you're a white man, you're a cis straight white man, like that's wrong. Like there's so many ways that we don't let one another off the hook. And so I just want to say that, like, there's absolutely a sincere conversation to be had, especially on the left and among progressives, about not over and hyper policing and politicizing one another and taking everything with the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this same fight together.
Yeah.
That's not the same cancel culture discussion that is being decried here. It just sounds like boomer doesn't know internet, or boomer, like elitist boomers mad at the internet. Yeah.
Or you know, right-wing grifter knows exactly what boomers want to hear, which is that cancel culture is ruining everything, which it's not, because you know, if cancel culture really was effective, man, That would be sick. We'd live in a better world.
And I will just say, I do think it is a little bit of a, excuse me, but like a bitch ass move.
Oh, it's a bitch ass move. You can say that.
This is a bitch move.
This is a bitch
move. But it is a bitch ass move when
instead
of changing your leadership structures, like, you know, at Amazon, you put up Black stories for people to watch, or you, let's say, one Amazon employees who have been, you know, caught going on racist rants, that like they're going to fire that one person, but they're not going to challenge what else is going on. They're not going to set up, like I was saying, structures to actually deal with this. They're not going to change who's in power, you know, all of that. So I do think that, like, when they're like, oh, and these, you know, institutional leaders, yeah, but that's on them.
Yeah.
Like, that's on them for just taking rash action and not actually structurally and fundamentally changing where they're at. You know, so I just wanted to add that in there.
Totally.
I want to just, dude, the comments are so fucking good.
They're really
you guys,
good. While you're reading them, I'm going to just shut that because it's so hot.
Take your headphones off. Someone thanks me for explaining cancel culture. Susie, I feel like that's a little ironic, but you probably don't mean it in that way. If you're ever on cable news and saying anything anti-war, they don't invite you back. Clifford Maxwell said that. That's very true. We saw what happened in the Iraq War.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Thank God. I really needed to. I like this. Someone wrote, how many company contracts have anti-BDS clauses? And like, to me, the, you know, anti-BDS clauses that people have to sign, to me is like, I don't even think talking about Twitter is appropriate to talk about until we deal with the fact that we have actual cancel culture happening from a governmental level.
Yeah.
That is, you talk about free speech. You can't even.
No, there's so many things you're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
But like, at the end of the day, I feel like everyone's just arguing for like their ability to say the N-word. I feel it's just like white people who are like, well, why can't I say the N-word too? Like, it fundamentally, that's what it all comes down
does
to.
Boil down to like, but it's my favorite word to say in the shower when I'm mad. It's a very specific thing, but I'm just saying, like, it is, at the end of the day, there are people who think that what free speech is, or, you know, what an attack on free speech was when someone tells you, hey, what you said is fucked up.
I mean, not to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but there is straight up a white supremacist named Baked Alaska. I'm sure you guys remember him from the Unite the Right marches. He got bear maced.
It was so funny.
Look that up if you need a good laugh. Baked Alaska is also like a cake that's apparently good. But anyway, his name is Baked Alaska. He like does ironic
Nazi
rap
stuff.
videos. I feel like I'm like giving him more of a promo. The point is he used to work at BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
And he used to be kind of a liberal. And apparently one day he said something like, I read his whole origin story, which is so fascinating to know what an origin story of like a white supremacist is, and to know it's something as fucking small as this. He's working at BuzzFeed, and he's like, oh, I love Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
And someone was like, you know, you really shouldn't say spirit animal because, you know, it's offensive to Native Americans.
And he was just like, oh, gee,
He did a 180 and was just like, oh.
Could you not touch my hair? The you tonight. You're just like, whoa, bruh. It's not that serious.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, we laugh, but like, when white people are checked on the smallest things, they really take it way too seriously.
We go cray.
I just wanted to read Grow Some Food. Great idea. Says, I wish JK was like Emma Watson or Hermione Granger. Awesome. I do too. Like, honestly, just take after any of the fictitious characters you've written about.
What I love about people dunking on J.K. Rowling is the fact that, like, it is definitely awakening a lot of people who loved Harry Potter to the fact that, like, Harry Potter sucks. Like, here's the thing.
I we don't have to talk about this, but I haven't read.
Some people love Harry Potter, and that's okay, and there's no problem with it. But as someone who has never read it and has only seen a couple of the movies and really liked the first movie, to be honest, it was the first time I'd seen a kid's movie that actually made me feel the same feelings of being a kid, even though I was an adult when I saw it. But anyways, she's got like, I think the only Asian character in Harry Potter's name is Cho Chang, and, and it's like, God, come on, guys.
I just want to. Can everyone just respond to this open letter and just be like, "Okay, Cho Chang"?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Cool. We'll get right on cancel culture when you don't name your Asian characters just like what you think their language sounds like.
2 different Asian nationalities. Like that's like one is Chinese and one is Korean.
This is true.
Yeah.
My mom's last name, Chang.
Chang.
That means I am Chinese.
That's what you are.
I really love Harish Ramaya. You have a comment. Free exchange of ideas does not mean ignorance should be given equal time.
That is
absolutely
so true.
Fucking lootly.
Yeah.
This is the same argument of like, well, why can't we talk about like social Darwinism now, or like phrenology or whatever? What's it called?
Phrenology. Yeah, that's the one where you're measuring skulls to see what race people are.
Yeah, but like it's a free exchange of ideas. No, because it's fake. It doesn't exist.
Right. Some ideas.
Racial superiority is a bad idea.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of these ideas were also litigated a long time ago, and also the consequences of these ideas showed themselves to be pretty dire to especially to groups that are already at risk.
Right.
So yeah, we all kind of like made a collective decision that, or like, oh yeah, we've heard that these are the same old things, but people they feel offended if they just discovered their kind of nascent Nazism, and they're like, why can't I have a free space to explore my ideas of hating other races and stuff? And it's like, because we decided that.
Yeah. That's been done. We're moving on to abolishing the police.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Matthew.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you joined me. And now we have to go cook dinner and do coupley things.
Oh, for real?
Like doing a puzzle.
We got to get a new puzzle.
I know.
Yeah. We had a puzzle that was 1,000 pieces of just butterflies. And it took us
butterflies.
It took us months.
Not like third grade, like
100 butterflies.
100 HD butterflies. And
you know what? Most butterflies look exactly the same.
They fucking do.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to, I hate to be generalize, but they kind of all look the same. Butterflies.
You're stereotyping now.
All monarch butterflies.
What? They're all pretty.
They're all
there were a lot of moths.
Look like moths, and
they
were
mostly moths.
They're like hairy little bodies, and their wings were fucking dog shit.
Disgusting.
But yeah, we do need to.
Do you have any puzzle recommendations?
Yeah. If we got a puzzle rec, that would be sweet.
Send me your puzzle recommendations.
Send me your puzzle rec.
Follow Matt Lieb on Instagram. He's a thirsty boy.
I'm so thirsty. At Matt Lieb Jokes. That's MATTLIEB Jokes.
Matt Lieb. My name is Matt. Can you work my name into a Hamilton song? My name's so long.
Francesca Fiorentini.
Terrible.
My name is Francesca. Yeah, it's too long. Yeah, Franny Fio. I can't do it. I don't know. Well, I have to pick another musical. Does it need to be Hamilton?
No.
Can it be like?
But you can work me into
Francesca Fiorentini Superstar.
Yeah. Please. Yes.
Yeah. What's the buzz? Tell me, bitchuation room. What's the buzz? Tell me, bitchuation room. What's the buzz? Tell me, bitchuation room. What's the buzz? Tell me. Why should you want to watch a stream about the politics?
Yay! Matt Lieb likes musicals.
I do.
He is also on Good Mythical Morning, if you ever seen that. And he's got a podcast called The Frotcast. It's so fun. We did a whole hour on Hamilton. So if you loved it, if you hated it, if you don't know how to feel about it, listen to that podcast.
Check it out.
And we'll be back here on Sunday. I don't know if in front of this curtain.
This is a bonus curtain.
This is a bonus curtain only,
Mhm.
but I will be back with Nato Green, another comedian, Brody Reed, and we're going to be talking to a candidate for California State Assembly.
Cool.
We're going to get real wonky.
Love it.
Be there on Sunday. All right. Bye.